Well, it's time for me to do a change of tack now. I'm still under lockdown. I'm still looking for stuff to do, so I have got at my disposal 2 brake vans. This one is perfectly good and it runs fine and everything, but this one, you'll notice, doesn't have a roof, and it came in the bottom of a box. This never had a roof, so what I thought I might do is change this into a planked wagon. And what I thought I would do would be to cut it off here and here, so make this the height here, and I do the same at the other end, and I could also hopefully saw along here to make it all the standard height. And then what I would do is I would take some of these panels and I would stick them into this gap here and this gap here, and the same at the other side as well, thus making it like a planked wagon. I then thought, because it doesn't have to be too fancy at the top, I could make it into a tarpaulin wagon, which I've done one before, and they look quite good. So it's a way of using up this, and I'm going to convert it into this. So let's see how it goes. Okay, I'm going to start by hopefully snipping off these little bits. What I can do is take the wheels off this, make it easier to work with, and hopefully if I snip this the right way, I might do it without, oh that's pretty good, without damaging anything, I was going to say, because it's quite brittle, this stuff. Well, that's okay, that's a good start. I'll do the same at the other side now. So there we go, that's what we've got so far now. Now this is the hard bit, is sawing down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it with my junior hacksaw. I apologise for the light in here. See if I can get a better light on it for you. Maybe move this a little bit higher. Okay, we'll carry on now. I'm going to just do this by racket thigh, as they say, using my junior hacksaw. It seems to be doing okay. We'll plod on. Once I get through the side, that front edge, the sides will go pretty quick. Right, now I've just got to do the same at the other side now, and hopefully it will meet up in the middle. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, this, remember. Not easy to hold, but it's doing it. Okay, let's have a look now. Should be able to snip through the little bits that are left. Maybe just run it down there. Oh, done. Look at that. Snip those last little bits off. Snip. And a snip. There we go. That's what I've got now. So looking at it from the side, you've got that. So I've got to fill in these little bits now. That's the next part of the exercise. Okay, I've got all my 4 pieces there now. It's just a case of making sure that they fit. That's a tight fit. And what I can do is just rub it down a little bit on a file and make sure that it's a decent fit in there. That's okay. And we'll try the next one. That's a little bit on the slack side. Oh, it'll just about go in there, that one. So that doesn't need anything doing at it. This one, again, it's a little bit tight. So we'll take a little bit more off it. A little bit more still. Yep, that will fit. And then the last one, that's going to fit too. So you can see what they look like. That's what they're going to be like. Unfortunately, they've come out a little bit short. It doesn't matter because the tarpaulin is going to go down over that, probably down to this little line here. Right, so you won't see anything above there. So what I'm going to do now is to glue those in place, and then I'll get back to you with the next stage. I'm going to have to work pretty quick now because I've just opened up a tube of super glue, and as you can see, this is the slack one. So what I did was put a little bit of tissue in it so it'll make it tight, and then I'm going to glue that in there. Oops, without gluing it to my own fingers, I hope. Just going to run a bead down there and just get it in place, and then glue the other bits as well that I've done. A little bit difficult to see because of the light. But I'm putting a lot on. I'm hoping that capillary attraction will make it stick. This won't be seen, obviously, it's on the inside, and I'll just cut that little bit of extra tissue paper off afterwards. It's sticking to my fingers now. I know it's working. Gotta get it right. Could end up permanently glued to this piece here. I can see it coming out at the front, so I'm going to say that's it for now, and we'll see what that's like when it dries. Okay, this is what we've got now. We're going on to the next stage. You can see that the piece is glued on quite well, so now I've just got to remove the surplus, this surplus paper that I used to pack it up. So I'm going to just cut that off. I can paint that up afterwards, and it doesn't really matter about the inside, so I'm just going to leave it on the inside. It doesn't matter, it's going to be covered up anyway. So what I'm now going to do, remember, we're going to make this into this, and how I did this, I got some little packing pieces that give it some shape. So that's the shape that I wanted, and you can take those out after because this is quite sturdy when it's finished, and that's what we're aiming to achieve now. So the first thing I need to do is to put some cling film over this so it will protect it. I'll take the wheels off first. Put some cling film over this so it will protect it. Oh, I better get some shape with it too. So what I'll do is get a pair of scissors, and I can just use some cardboard or something to give it some shape. doesn't really matter. There we go, that one there, and probably another one. Make it a little bit bigger, I think. And it doesn't really matter what you come up with, so that's going to look good. So now I've got to cover this with cling film so that it protects it. I've taken the wheels are now off, so I've just got the body itself. So I'm going to cover this completely in cling film so that the glue and stuff doesn't stick to the model. So we're ready to go now, and all I need for this now, I'll just get rid of this surplus here because it's just a little bit too much there, it's not going to sit down properly. So what I'm going to do now is take some PVA glue, 50% I'm going to dilute it, and I'm going to put this PVA glue over this toilet paper here, and I'm going to wrap it around this model here. Oops, it's ripped a little bit, it doesn't matter. Ideally you need a spray can, ideally. But I'm going to build it up. I'm going to do 3 layers. So there's the first layer. Here's the second layer coming on now. This is just for a little bit of additional strength. And I'm just going to dilute this a little bit more because it's just a little bit on the thick side. More like water now. And it will actually form its own wrinkles when I get the third layer on. A little bit more there. I've seen people do these with just 1 layer and it's worked perfectly well, but I like the 3 layers to give it just that little bit more rigidity. Now I've got the third one on, I'm going to take an elastic band and I'm going to wrap it around there so it holds it in tight. We're going to make sure that we get it equal all the way around. And now I can go and finish it off here, splashing it all over. And you know what, because it's come through a little bit there, I'm going to take that elastic band off. Just a little bit too thin, that toilet paper, so I'm going to use some of this. If I can rip a decent piece off. Yeah, I've got it. Here's one I prepared earlier. He lied. I'm going to cut that out. It'll just give it that little bit more strength, and then I can put the elastic band around it. That's better. Make sure you got it parallel all the way around. And that looks pretty good now. Now I can finish it off with the final coat. Of glue. And I want it to wrinkle up just going to stick one more piece of toilet paper on top of that, so I've got 4 layers now, and I don't really care where it goes around, because it's going to be cut off when I get the other stuff on it. Okay, I've got some more glue now, and I'm going to put that on there, and it should wrinkle up really nice. And then it's just a case of leaving that to set. And then it's just a case of painting it, cleaning off all the surplus, and then painting it up. You can make your own wrinkles with this stuff, and it does form natural wrinkles. So there's my load, it's ready now. I'm going to wait for that to dry, and then we'll take another look at it from there. It's had a day or so to dry now. So the next thing is to take all the surplus stuff off. So what I'm going to do is remove the elastic band first of all. Sometimes these break when they come off because they're glued on, but I managed to get that off okay. Now I've got to take all this stuff off here and try and lift it off. So let's see how this goes. You know what, I'm going to use a pair of scissors to get in there, and I'm going to just prise it off a little bit. There we go. Right, so that's the body off now, and I'm going to remove all of the cling film. Now it's a case of cutting off the surplus. So I'm just going to use a pair of scissors here, and I'm going to try and follow the line of the elastic band and just cut through that. You can see it's not difficult to do. Makes a little bit of a mess, but that's okay, we can handle mess, can't we? Just wipe that off. So I'm going to take the bits of cardboard out that I had for packing it. Now I did say that this method actually creates its own wrinkles. What I forgot to mention was that you can't put this stuff on your face and get rid of wrinkles. That's totally different completely. So back onto this. I'm going to see if this fits onto here now, which hopefully it will. Yes, it does. How about that? That doesn't look too bad, does it? We'll look at it from 4 sides. That's not bad. And when we take the wheels as well, we can put the wheels on there. That's what we're left with. We've now got the wagon with its tarp on. So it's just a case of painting it now. I'm going to remove it again, and what I'm going to do is that level, just look, it looks level, okay. Perhaps just a minor adjustment there. Cut that little surplus bit off there. But that looks pretty good to me. It's pretty level and everything. So I'm going to get some black paint out, which I haven't used for a long time. And I'm going to put this black paint in my container. It's probably 6 months ago since I last used this stuff. And I'm going to get a brush, and I've already got on my fingers now, look. So I'm going to get a brush and I'm going to start painting. Now I'm going to also paint the bottom of the tarp as well, because it's important to get that looking realistic. There we go. Right, now I can start to paint the main part of it. So I'm going to go. A lot of people like to use spray paints, and spray paints are a great alternative for doing this. It probably looks a better finish as well, but being as I haven't got any spray paint, I ain't going to use it, and I'm just going to dib dab all over till I get this fully covered. And I'm just going to get a little friend here to hold this now so that it doesn't move when I finish the last little bit here at the front. And then we will take that and let it dry. And what I may do is put a little bit of white in there or something and just try and age it a little bit, or maybe put a little bit of white in with the black. You know, I might even try that now. Just give me a second. Find some white paint. I'm just going to dip into this white paint and just mix it in with this, so it'll go a little bit grey or something, won't it? And let's see how that works out. Put a little bit on there so it looks a little bit weathered. I'm going to have to use that again to hold it. My little flexible friend. That's not a bad colour, I don't think that's bad. We could have had it all properly black and make it look like a brand new tarp, but I like the weathered effect, so I'm going to leave it at that for now. I'm going to let that dry, and then it's just a case of putting it back together when it's dried, and we'll see what it looks like. Now if you look very closely, we're on to the last final little bit of this now. This should be the fun part, but it wasn't, because it was quite difficult. What happened was, you see these two pieces of supporting brackets here, and there's two at the other end as well. And we also have this ventilation piece on the brake car at both sides. So when I cut that off, these were sticking out, and it made it quite difficult to get the tarpaulin on after I finished it. So what I've done, I've actually filed these away, as you can see, and I've filed the vent off. I've done that all around, and then I've got that, so I can now hopefully put that on there without much problems. You can see, that's it, it locks down now. There we go. So that's the tarp in place now. So it's just got to get its wheels now. So if I get the wheels here, push those on, and it just clicks nicely into place. So I've got one tarp wagon, and I've got another tarp wagon now. Just about get them both in there. So I think that's mission accomplished now. So I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'm sure you can use those little tips and adapt them to suit your own requirements. So thanks again for watching, and we'll be back soon. Bye for now.